And welcome to Words of Experience. This is the author Frank Sotzik. In the last 6 weeks, a fairly big Grindr campaign has been running. It has been in 6 countries: the United Kingdom, UK, the United States of America, USA, France, Canada, Australia, and Brazil. At the end of this time, there have been over 120,000 people that have clicked on the Grindr ad. Recently also, Facebook ads have been running in the same 6 countries, and there are now over 7,000 people on this Facebook page. Recently, I was also on Twitter, so I have a small number of people also following me on Twitter. So this is part of the effort to make Words of Experience more accessible to everyone worldwide. Words of Experience was not really intended to stop prejudice. I mean, I would have been pleased if it could, but I thought that was too difficult. Words of Experience was intended to help young people cope, mostly who are gay, but because sexuality follows a spectrum, and gender identity too, but sexuality from gay to straight, and people are not usually totally gay or totally straight, but all the way along. So Words of Experience was really to help people cope, and I'm sure people who are gay and bisexual and straight, or just curious or questioning their sexuality, may find Words of Experience useful and interesting. However, I now realize there is a lot more support worldwide to help gay people cope and to reduce prejudice, and so I wish to go a little bit further with this project. So initially, Words of Experience was mainly for gay people or people who had some gay feelings, but I wish to extend the project so that it addresses issues of young people worldwide who are not necessarily gay. And I'd like the readership of my books also to be worldwide, and people of all walks of life and sexuality, and men and women. So Words of Experience was mainly relating to my own experiences and my own understanding of things and experiences of others, whereas I wish to swap to fiction because I think it's easier to change the world for the better by writing fiction rather than just recounting experiences. And also, dealing with controversial subjects, it's much harder for me to be knocked down and prevented from saying anything that helps other people if it's fiction. So now I'm appealing to everybody here on this Facebook page for information about what you like. Please let me know what posts you'd like me to put on this Facebook page, and also what things you liked about Words of Experience, the book, and what sort of things you didn't like about it. Please be quite prepared to be harsh and critical if necessary. It's good for me to know all the things that you liked and all the things you didn't like. And I certainly wouldn't be offended if there were things you didn't like. It would be useful. Obviously, I tried to keep people happy and say things that were helpful to people, but it's, as you can imagine, it's difficult to do. So I'd also like to know what sort of stories you'd like me to write, assuming I write fiction, or if people think I shouldn't be writing fiction and should be doing something else, then please also let me know about it. I have a couple of ideas of stories, because initially I was thinking of writing a collection of short stories, and one example is a person who is homophobic, who lets a riot happen during which a gay man is killed. Meanwhile, the person who's homophobic finds out from his doctor that he doesn't have long to live because he has a heart condition. Fortunately, the gay man who died was with a bone marrow registry, so it turns out that the only person who has a compatible heart is the gay man who's dead. So the homophobic person has to go to appeal to the family of the man who died to try to beg for the heart and put a case for why he should be allowed to live. Another example is of two churches, maybe on a hill or somewhere just nearby. They like to compete with one another as to which church worships God better. For argument's sake, one could be Catholic and the other could be Protestant, but it doesn't matter. At any rate, one of them is not homophobic, perhaps because a couple of people attending the church are gay and everybody knows, and they know it's okay. The other church is homophobic, and quite actively so. So they are the sort of people, they're a group of people who have signs and placards saying bad things about gay people and so on, protesting. And the hatred is quite extensive, and eventually, as a result, God, the God they worship at least, visits that little church during one of the services. And of course, God, being an Old Testament God, I'll do my best to write about an Old Testament God, is roused to anger in the way that the Old Testament God can be, and says things that you would expect an Old Testament God to say. Now, of course, assuming the Old Testament God is also loving. That's an example of another story, and I'm hoping that if the readership is very wide, that these types of stories might change people's attitudes and make them more accepting of gay people and make things better for everybody. But these are only ideas, and it really helped tremendously to have feedback from everyone on this Facebook page, or at least people who want to provide the feedback. So in the coming couple of weeks, I'll be posting some questions, and please do comment. I won't be judging anybody for criticism or for comments, whether good or bad. I'm just pleased to receive them, and they'll help me write better, whether it's fiction or anything. At any rate, thank you very much for your time in listening to this little message, and I'll say goodbye for now, and till next time.